Uh, let's see, we're getting started. It's a couple minutes after 7 Eastern. The purpose of this call we hold on the second Monday of every month. The Gold Club members can submit deals prior to the call that we will review right here. If you're not on the Gold Club member, you can listen, but you can't participate. If you'd like more information and signing up for the Gold Club, you can do that at www.rons, and that's RONS, goldclub.com. This is pretty much a question and answer session, so I am not planning on talking through my life story in the next hour. So this will be questions and answers. I would ask everybody to mute themselves. And then as I call on you, either raise your hand. Again, if your screen is not on, I cannot see you. So if I'm not calling on you, don't get too mad at me. But if you do have your screen on and you have a question, then you will raise your hand. I will call on you. You will unmute yourself, and then we will hopefully get your questions answered. I did get a couple PI sheets in, and they were all from the same individual, so I don't see the individual on here. Stand by. Is there a Chris, I believe you're from Minnesota. If you're on, or when you get on, I'll ask for you again, but please make yourself known to me. But I'm happy to go over one of the PI sheets or so with you, but I'd like you to be on to do that. So we'll leave that for a little bit. So why don't we, with the first person who has a question, either raise your hand or unmute yourself. You raise your hand, no questions. If you have a question, unmute yourself. Let's try it that way.
Hey, Ann, Richard Hudak, how you doing?
I'm good, Richard. How are you? I do not see you, but that's okay.
No, you don't see me because I'm in transition of finally hooking up a video to my main desktop system versus my laptop. So I will get to the point. I know your great success in selling on Marketplace. So I actually bought a home under terms going back 6 months ago. And as soon as I got ready to market it, I marketed through Facebook Marketplace, but they put me in jail. They didn't like something in my ad. So I lost 60 days. I had to get a management firm to try to sell it, and Zillow and Craigslist and all their means to sell it. So I really lost out in the market. But here's what's happened. When I bought it, I still bought it at a wholesale type of a price, just under retail, but there's plenty of equity. I took over the mortgage. But losing the 60 days, all of a sudden, the value in this area started to plummet. So I finally got on Facebook 2 months later and been marketing, and I've been lowering the price. So, and I'm getting all kinds of looks and phone calls, but it's too high priced, or the market rent out there, we can't afford that. So even though I'm offering it for terms, it's been a real hard sell. So I lowered it till finally got to the point, and I said, guess what? I'm going to change strategy. I'm going to raise the price, because maybe people are looking at it like, oh, mama, this guy's just lowering it, getting desperate. I raised the price. Next thing you know, I get 2 offers on it. And I get a terms buyer on it, literally within moments, except I just go through the background check and find out that this guy's had fraud and felonies and bankruptcies and evictions. So my terms deal that we've got all done now, when I raised the price, kind of went to pot. So it's been bleeding me dry covering the mortgage over the last 5 months and utilities and whatnot, and I can't get it rented out. I do have a private money lender in this with me as well, who's expecting to get a return. I haven't paid him a dime back yet, because we haven't made any money on it. And he's cool, though he's not too happy about it. So If I sell it, I'm going to take a huge loss because that's where the market's at right now. If I've got a realtor, I take a huge loss. If I rent it, I take a loss on monthly debt service. There you go. Any, help you can share.
All right, well, I've not ended up in Facebook or marketplace jail. What I did forget to do was introduce myself, so let me back up for just a second. My name is Ann. I hail from Northwest Indiana. I am a current mentor with Ron. They nicknamed me Action Ann, a lot of action. And I do a lot. I buy a lot off of Facebook, and I also sell a lot on Facebook Marketplace. So I'd be interested on what you actually put on Facebook Marketplace that got you in Marketplace jail, because usually this is embarrassing. Hold on. Hey, I'm sorry, my dog was being very naughty. So as far as I would take a look at exactly what was put on Facebook Marketplace, give me some in little bit of information. How much is this house worth right now? And is it a pretty house, or is it were you planning on turning paper on it? What was your
Yeah,
goal?
great question. No, it's definitely a pretty house. And
Okay.
I bought it at
And what is it currently worth?
yeah, unfortunately right now it's about 265. I bought it at 289 when it was worth comp wise, and I'm good at comps, about 305. And in that 60
Okay.
days that I got put in jail and I think it's because I listed my phone number on the Facebook ad.
Yeah, they don't like that.
That's right.
So the way around that is you don't list your phone number, obviously, but you will get a lot of Facebook messengers, and that's where you do a lot of the copy and paste so that you're not having to respond to each one of those, or that's what I do, is just copy and paste. I
Yes.
don't get into individual answers. As far as, first of all, and what I would recommend is that when you're targeting, or when I'm targeting a certain market, I don't want to be at retail price. The reason I don't want to be at retail price is because of the fact that I'm getting people who, when you're getting somebody who can get qualified and is looking at houses on retail price, they're expecting the best bargain that they can get, et cetera, et cetera. I'm
Agreed.
looking for the people who can't get financed. So I will raise that price a little bit. And if if somebody's arguing with me about price, they're not my buyer.
Correct.
My
Agreed.
buyer's more interest. My
Yeah.
buyer's interested in what can they put down, and what is their monthly payment. So in those 200, those are the, and I work a lot in this area. My main market is under 250, is actually under 200,000. So I have to go through a ton of people a lot of times to get to the 3 or 4 that I'm going to actually put in the house.
Yes.
The other thing I would say is, a lot of times now, I don't want meth heads or anything like that in my house. But sometimes money talks. And if they're putting down a non-refundable option deposit and they've got 30 or 50,000, whether they've been evicted or not before, I'll put that, if it's a good enough, I mean, I'm not going to do it for them for 5,000, but if they've got some good money to put down, I may take that. The worst that happens is that I need to kick them out, and then I get to keep the non-refundable option deposit.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that. The best he could do was 3,000, and then he was going to go on the down payment assist program, adding an extra 500 a month. I was going to credit him, but that's not
3,000.
money up front, not acceptable. So
Nope.
no. So anyway, bottom line is that's what's happened is I now need to move it because I've been paying way too much debt service. The mortgage payment alone, 1,670 plus utilities,
Ouch.
which has all been being paid out of my pocket over the last 5 months. And
What could you rent it for?
yeah, and that's the hard part too. Going rate rent on that right now, it's probably around 1,900 to 2,000. So it's a little bit of a spread over my 1,670. I think if I could rent it, they tell me I can get $2,000. So I'd make 300 and something bucks, at least stop the bleeding until such time that maybe the market will appreciate again. But truthfully, It went from 305 and I bought it at 289. Literally, you look at the peak right now, boom, she just plopped down. And I don't mean Zillow, I mean on pure comps. And one of the things happened is that right when I bought it, all the builders just started introducing brand new homes, same square foot, same size, and about the same price. And it saturated
Okay.
the market. And my value went down now to 265. I lost 40 grand in
I-
5 months.
Keep in mind, you set your price because you have something nobody else has, and that's terms.
Right.
Because a lot of people on these nice new houses, they're going to go to the bank and they're going to get a mortgage. You don't, those are not the people you're looking to come buy your house.
That's right. And and I agree, but I'm saying that I've gone through hundreds of prospects, and we always get to the point, oh, it's non-refundable, the down payment, or oh no, I can't afford that, etc. And that's the issue.
So I would I'd find a friend, spouse, significant other, anybody to that effect, and I would get it back up on Facebook Marketplace.
And it
And I
is.
would get, okay, and
It is.
I would be advertising, I do an hour and a half open house.
Okay.
And that hour and a half open house, I literally, I mean, if it's, freshly painted, whatever, just basically for sale by owner, lease option, rent to own. And put the price on there, and I would not go too far under that 289 that you paid. I mean, I'd probably be up at 299 is what I'd list it for.
Okay.
And then I'd put some basics, and I don't know what your basics are. 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
It is.
Just,
Yeah.
okay, so 3-bedroom, 2-bath, X amount of square feet, and Sunday 12 to 1:30 and the address. Well, usually if I start on Monday, I don't publish the address until about Thursday or Friday. But I do that and then kind of get ready because there will be, they can't call you, so they're going to be instant messaging you. And my response to everybody is very much the same of owner will be on site. Because you're going to get all sorts of questions. You're going to get, what is the lease that you'll take down? What do I have to bring for a down payment? How much is the rent? Are you negotiable? And that's when everything goes back with the open house is Sunday from 12 to 1:30. The decision maker will be on site. And that pulls a lot of people there because you're not, even the ones, well, I can't make it. Well, I think of it as a wedding. I am having a wedding. When you and your bride or significant other decide that you're having a wedding, you pick a date and you mail out invitations. Those that make it, fantastic. Those that can't, I'm sorry. And this is my open house, and I will deal with people after only if I have to.
Thank you, Ann. I'll let you go. I don't want to take the time for everybody else, but thank you as usual.
Perfect. All right, anybody else? Next question. I would say raise your hand. Again, I'm not seeing everybody, so if you have a question, unmute yourself and yes, no. No questions? I'll ask again. There was my computer went off. If there's a Chris starts with an L, I do have a property information sheet that we were going to go over. So if that is you and you wanted to talk about that, I would ask you to unmute yourself. And if Chris isn't here, the next person that would like to ask a question, just unmute yourself and holler away.
And quick question. If you have, I had someone, I was a FISBO and they talked to me, they might be interested. And by the way, I'm in like my second week of using VAs and getting leads. So if this is something you deal with often, just let me know. But somebody's got a FISBO and the price is way above the comps. I don't know what's going on with it, that the price is so high. Like let's call it, it's at 695. when I run the comps, it comes to like, maybe 600. How do you have that conversation with a seller? I think they must have some financial distress, which is why I'm thinking, hey, I could work this out and get them terms, and they'll be saying, hey, I could make a bigger payment off of it. But how do you have that conversation with the seller typically?
So who was this again?
I'm sorry, my name's Nate.
Okay. So yeah, if I'm getting comps that are very, very different, I'll ask them how they came up with their, how did you come up with your price, and see what they say.
Got it.
And then, and a lot of times, it's usually MSU University that they saw something, or I would take, even if you look at Zillow, sometimes the high end on the Zillow spectrum is what they price at. I don't think
Got it.
Zillow is the have all end all, but I would be asking, and then I'd tell them, some of my comps I'm showing are here. So, are you, what's the least that you'll take for the house? And start
Sure.
going down the script.
Got it. Yeah, because it's just, I have someone who's interested in terms, but the price is too high. So I'll just start working them like that. That's what I was figuring. But I just want to affirm from you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Who's next?
Hey, Anna, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Is this Chris?
Yeah, sorry about that. A little technical difficulty, but
That's
I
okay. I
heard,
have them all the time.
nice. I heard you call my name, so just getting up to speed here.
Are you Chris? Okay,
Good key.
Chris, you are the winner. It starts with an L, and you're probably in Minnesota, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So you'd sent in 7 of the PI sheets. You're the winner of the most property information sheets. So I'm happy to go over these, but I guess, what questions do you have specifically? Because a lot of these I'm seeing have either been called by the VAs and then nothing, and then you have not called them yet. So have you made phone calls or no?
Yeah, yep. I have. I've been negotiate. I apologize. It was a quick attachment here this morning, and some of it might be redundant. I might have put some. Will only speak with the buyer. That's kind of was my question. Is the will only speak with the buyer, right? Now, there's some that are free and clear, some have a mortgage on them, of course. It's all obvious there, right? So, kind of more looking for some tutelages to we'll only speak with a buyer. When they've already spoken with the VA, does that make sense? Like, what's the conversation look like, say, after they've been contacted, but they only want to talk to the buyer?
So usually when they say that they're only going to speak with buyer, they have not filled out the property information sheet. So then it becomes your job, just like all the closed leads that the VAs have made their 3 phone calls, and for whatever reason they did not get in touch with the actual seller of the house. A lot of people don't call those. Those are very good leads. And the reason is because a lot of people don't follow up on them. So when you're following up on those closed leads, you're doing probably something that 2/3 of other people won't do. So you don't have as many people in competition with you. So that conversation looks like you're calling them up and you're getting out very quickly. Other than, hi, my name is Chris and I'm calling about your house for sale. And then usually the next thing I'll blurt out is, I'm a buyer. I'm not a realtor. I am a buyer, so that they will come down. That those people normally are the ones that they've put their house on the market and they've received 300 phone calls from realtors trying to list it.
Right, right.
So as soon as you get out that you're a buyer, now I kind of back into the conversation and I'm like, I will tell them the house. I will tell them, I usually have like Zillow or something pulled up, and I will verify the price that they're asking, and then I jump to the bottom of the sheet. And I start working my way up. So, and I verify what I know. So on the bottom of the sheet where it says how many beds and how many baths, I jump all the way down. I'm like, hey, I'm looking at your house. It says it's listed for 250. Is that correct? Yes. Great. I'm seeing that it's 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's about 1,200 square feet. Do I have my information correct? Yes. I'll look back and go after are you leaving the refrigerator or anything like that? And then I get to that next section up, which is how did you get to your asking price? Does it need repairs? And then I skip all the way up to the mortgage information, but I've done some rapport building with them by asking questions and getting some answers and getting them talking. Does that help? Are you working with a mentor?
Not at the moment. No, not currently.
Okay, then yes, I would absolutely go that route and then go up to, and usually I make the statement, you know, is the house free and clear? Or do you still have a mortgage? Because I normally will get an answer to that question. And that's now, and that I would tell you, anybody on here, if you're not recording your calls, you're missing out. Because it's not always what you say, but it's how you say it. And if you're not sounding confident when you're asking that question, they are not going to tell you the answer. But if you make that of a statement, that's a very, it's not getting too personal. Is it paid off or is it not? If it's paid off, you're done. Go to box B. If it's not paid off, that's where we get into, you know, how much is left on the mortgage and how much are you paying per month? And that's when they might rebut you. Am I helping?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Absolutely record yourself, Chris. You will thank me 100 times over when you listen back to that recording and you can't believe how terrible you sound in the beginning, because myself included, I'm not picking on anybody, I'm picking on everybody. I don't know anybody, whether they've done scripts or sales or anything like that, who thinks that they pick up the phone and the first time they sound good. I'm telling you, I didn't, you didn't, nobody did. And the best way to correct that and correct your learning curve is listening to yourself. I'm off my soapbox. Sorry.
Not a problem. Thank you.
So and Chris, you sent in 7 leads. So, I mean, I can go through one by one with you if you'd like, or was that the general overall gist of the question?
Yeah, it was just, they've already been contacted by the VA, and it was more of that second go around. Like it's, more of a follow up because they've already been contacted and said, yeah, hey, I don't really want to talk to you. That was more of my,
Okay. Well, and if you run into problems on
that,
they have the question and answer line in Ron's Gold Club, so you're able to use that.
awesome.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Excellent. Who's next? Those, if you're following in late, glad to have you. Glad you're here. Please just take yourself off of mute one at a time. If we get 2 that come together, I'll just take you one and then the next.
Okay, I'll chime in. I'm here waving.
That's Mike. Mike, I can see you. You're a special one, I guess. All right.
I just hit the right button finally here. I just had a quick
There you
question. Facebook Marketplace, which I haven't used before, but I'm aware of its existence. Is that pretty much for using for getting localized properties, or can that go national? Can you target specific states? How specific is that supposed to be used?
So if you go to, all right, I'm going to grab my phone because I'm not going to be able to explain this without it. So when you get into Facebook Marketplace, on the top where it has the little eyeglass kind of search button, it says, what do you want to buy? If you go to that top, I don't know if you guys can, it's all the way up on the top there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'm trying.
Yeah,
but then if you scroll
screen just-
down, it'll say housing for sale. So then
Okay.
I pop on housing for sale. And then literally it comes up with the houses for sale. And if you see, I've got Francisville, Indiana, and it says filters. And if you hit the filters, oh, it's not doing it right now. Come on. If you hit the Francisville, Indiana, wait, see where it says like Francisville, Indiana? On yours, whatever you have, if you hit that, it comes up with a map. We see that. And then it also comes on the bottom, it comes up with how many miles. So you can move that pointer. So like now I'm moving it over to Peoria, Illinois. And then I can do my 40 miles as a crow flies, and I hit apply and it will take you anywhere.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm trying to find places that can be used in Wisconsin. Zillow will no longer allow people to post FSBOs because they joined the Wisconsin Realtors Association, and by rule, they're not allowed to post anything that's not a listed property in Wisconsin anymore. That's why if you look for a FSBO on their map, you won't see any red dots at all. So I've been trying to find alternate ways to find properties in Wisconsin. I'm a little north of Milwaukee, and I have the VA service, calling on places in Florida and Texas and stuff like that because they can't find anything in Wisconsin because they basically scrape Zillow. So I appreciate it. I'm trying, figured that might be a way to find some Wisconsin properties that people are listing since Zillow can't by rule anymore.
I would try Marketplace, and I Craigslist has not worked well for me. I hear other people talk about Craigslist and it's good. It's for me, it hasn't been great. So Facebook Marketplace is the bee's knees for me. So I would absolutely just move that pointer around and see what you could find.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Who is next?
Hey, Ann, it's Robert in Texas.
Hey, Robert in Texas. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hey, going back to your talking about call recorders, what do you use on your phone to do that? What kind of an app do you have?
Hold on. I know what I use, I just don't remember the name. I don't know if I'm allowed to plug one or not. How about that? So here, I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you several different ways. I use two the majority of the time. I use tape. It's called Tape-A-Call. TAPACALL. If you Google it, it'll come up. If you Google phone recordings, it will also come up on your Google search engine. And there's several, I don't know, I think at least 25 different companies that will come up. Some are free subscriptions, some are paid, some are free apps. The other thing that I will tell you about is if you're part of Pat Live, they also, the phone numbers go through a company called Tresta, which is part of Pat Live. And they can record calls because you can point those phone numbers either to Pat Live or to your cell phone, and they record all those calls. So you can visit that Tresta app or Tresta online, call Pat Live, ask them about Tresta. So I know that some of those that you can record that way. When I'm making outgoing calls, I use Tape-A-Call, but there's several others. It's just the first one that I found that I liked. And I believe even on the Dream system, now I don't know this for sure, so someone will have to check into this, but I believe on the Dream system, depending on what level you're at, they give you telephone numbers as well. And I believe those have a recording device with them.
Okay, Ann, I appreciate your
Could be
help.
wrong on that.
I used to use one that I can't remember the name of now, but then it quit working with my phone. So I've been searching for something else.
I would say Google it and see what you like. and see what's out there. Unless you currently have Pat Live, then I would check with them first on Trusta, because you're partially already paying for it, so why not use it?
Yeah, exactly. And I appreciate your advice.
Thank you. Who's next?
Hi, Ann. It's Lacey. Can you hear me?
It's who?
Lacey.
I can. Who is this?
Lacey.
Stacy.
Lacey. Lacey with
Lacey.
an L. I'm sorry, I got on here
I'm
late
sorry.
and then I couldn't unmute myself. I'm on my iPhone. I never used it on my iPhone, and I'm trying to push all these buttons.
Gotcha. So what's
Okay,
up?
so yeah, I sent in some lead sheets, probably like 8, but it was the last minute, so I don't want to go over them. I don't really care. I did, however, talk to them, and it's real on the lead sheets. Do you have them, or maybe not? I sent them like probably
You know,
a couple hours.
I thought, I went through them real quickly, and I thought they were all from the same person,
Yeah, I
which
sent like
was
8, I
Chris.
think.
Well,
Oh,
then
he sent-
either I didn't get them. Well, hit me with the question and we'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, let me see. Where do I go first? Okay. Well, I got here a little bit late. Y'all were talking about the open house. First off, the open house. Okay, I have a property under contract, and of course, it's not local. It's not in my area, and because I've been kind of doing all around. Anyways, it's like 4 hours away, and so I was wondering about. I want to do open house, but I can't obviously because it's not by me. And I've had it under contract for like a week now. She's just now moving out. That was okay. It was 90 days on the contract, right? So I haven't marked it or anything yet. My question was like, I guess like the open house would not work at all, right? If you're not close by it, like I don't know.
No, you can get some boots on the ground. You can
Yeah,
advertise
okay.
for, I'd be a little careful on getting sheets filled out with somebody you don't know, because you're getting their information and social security number and stuff. So
Right.
I would have them fill out the app and do that online and send it to you directly to vet. But you can have somebody there for the open house and have them refer back to you, or you can be on FaceTime.
Right. Okay. And I think so in just at the ARV is like about a little over 200, and I was thinking I didn't know what everybody's telling me that I should have already been marketing, but she's not out of the house, so I just didn't want to do that. I was just gonna wait since I got 90 days. But if I were to put it on the market, if the ARV is 200, I'd probably, if I got it under contract as a yeah, it's sub 2, and then she has a carry back. Wait, yeah, I think 20,000 at closing, and
All
then
right.
20,000.
So wait.
Yeah.
How much is the house worth?
Okay, the house is worth about 205. It says like 210 was one that is sold down the street. It's a brand new.
For whatever
The house
reason,
is like 2018. It's not that it's not that it's fairly new. And I got it under contract. Well, at first I got it under contract for 155, and then she owes like 100. But then she wanted some money down at the last minute. Like last week, whenever I was already put the contract out, she said that she was going to she need a little bit like cash to buy this little tiny home, because she's moving out of this home because she said it was too high of a payment, and she was already back behind payments, and she caught that back up because I told her to catch up, whatever she can do. And she caught back up, and now she said she needed like just 40,000. So what I did is gave her 20, I think it was online, as a down payment at close, and then as a carry back another 20.
All right.
So
what
yeah.
what is the
But it's
actual,
140. Sorry about that.
It's for, okay, so the ARV is 140, and how much do you have it under contract for?
Yeah, no, I have it under contract for 140. She wanted 155, but at the last minute, I said, in order to get that 40, we're gonna have to go down. So she went down to 140, and then they are, it's worth like over 200, a little over 200.
So it's worth over 200?
Yes, it's
Okay.
about 200.
And
It's
how
about
much does
right
she-
around.
Does it need any work?
No, it just really needs just paint, just paint and everything. It's fairly new. It's a cute home. I'll walk through it with her and everything. She's a little lady, and she can't pay the $800 a month, and she's paying 820 a month or something like that, and then she owes 100,000.
So you're taking over the 820 a month?
Yes,
Okay. And and what's the balance of her loan?
100. Like
Okay, and you're giving her
103.
and you're giving her 20,000 down?
Well, yeah, so that I got kind of confused because it's I literally had to revise the contract like 3 times because at first she was like, I guess she didn't fully understand. I was like, she needed some money down. She's buying a 40,000 little bitty home, and she wants to buy a cash. And I said, well, and then she went down from that 155 to 140. And then I said, this is what we just, 20,000 down at closing. And then the other 20 is the carryback. So that's just whenever if I put a lease option, whenever she gets out.
And what will it rent for?
It's about 1,600. A home right next door, like right next to her, is for rent right now at 1,600.
Okay, so the only thing I really don't like is that $20,000 down. And
No,
my
me too.
reason is that, and we never advertise, so listen fully. And I'd see if we can get her down a little bit. It's only because you're not gonna make anything on the front end, but you have a really big back end, so that's good. So I mean, if this thing is worth over $200,000, I mean, first of all, you need to find out what it's really worth.
Yeah.
Because
It's on
if it's
Zillow.
200
It
or
says,
two,
yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry?
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
on Zillow, I'm sorry. On Real eFlow, that it says 205, and then on another one it was said like 210, and then on Zillow it said 190, and then on Redfin it says 195 or something like one. Just they're all around the
Okay.
place, and then it's kind of I don't know. I look at the comps around, and they're all it's just like this town, and I mean they have um I can't explain it. It's just like, the same type of house. It's all cute houses, but then nothing's really like, booming. Like down the street, not the same size. That makes
Are you
sense.
working with a mentor?
I was with Tony, and okay, so I was with Tony, and then that's been a while, and then I previously I was the Wolf Cup, the Wolf that Brian,
Okay,
but I don't know, I'm still with you guys, of course.
Okay.
So but I haven't, so I don't know what's going on with us, with me and the Wolves yet.
okay. So I would, you know several ways to look for comps. I'd be finding the last 2 that sold in about the last 6 months. That
Right.
is your lowest figure you're gonna deal with. Because again, you have something, are you planning on selling this on terms, or were you planning on
Yeah,
like fix and flipping?
Yeah, no. So I definitely don't want to be flipping. If anything, I do like the terms and everything, but since it's my first terms, like doing this, and it's not. And I'm a good marketer. I like the social media and all that stuff, but it's kind of this is my headache with this. I've been nervous and all kinds of stuff because I don't know. Everybody's telling me not to do it with Texas, and I know that Texas you can lease option. I don't want to acquire it, but you can do that as an exit, and everybody's telling me that I can't or whatever. So it's a lot of this, kind of stress going on with that. And then
right,
at first
well-
I just said I was gonna go just to sign it. I'm just like, go ahead and just because I got under like all this pressure with this.
Well, all right, you've got some really good spreads here on, if you've bought it for 140 and the ARV is over 200 and really you only need some paint.
Right.
you know, that's 60,000. Again, and if, you know, it's looking like your amount is 820 that you're gonna be taking over, is that PI, I'm hoping that's
Yeah.
PITI.
It is.
And if you're gonna be, you know, the minimum, because normally, lease option buyers are gonna pay more than the actual rent. So at
Correct.
1,600, I mean, that's almost an $800 cash flow. The only thing that is not great is that you're giving her $20,000 down, and now we never advertise an
I
actual
know,
how
I
much.
never, yeah, yes, I know, and I know that was like all like last minute thing too. I was like, because I was really stressing out over it because we had it at 155 with, you know, she was gonna wait on her little, you know, it was like, I think I was, some money until the end. I can't really remember, but then
Are you,
I'm sorry.
are you
Go ahead.
paying the closing costs?
No, that's what, no, I'm not. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like whenever you know, I'm sure, you know, that's why I'm like trying to so confused. But I know that it's 20 down. I know that I put it down because I had a three-way call and we called her and then she's like, oh, and she's what? I said, how much, you know, that's whenever she snuck it up on me whenever I was on three-way listening to her. I was like, oh gosh, so that's great. That's 40 down. So she wanted 20 on line 7 down payment, upfront money or whatever that line, what is it, C or something. And then the E, the carryback was another 20. And that's basically now I don't know. I just, you know, so that's where I'm kind of stuck at. She's moving out today. She said she was moving out today. She'll be out today because the Wolves did tell me to have this stuff moved out before I even go there. Because I was going to go ahead and mark it, you know, just mark it, not even have anybody
Right.
go out there, but just have a market, you know, just, you know, to go Pat Live because I have Pat Live just to have whatever people on my list or whatever buyers list. But the Wolves told me just wait till she tell her to have all her stuff and take it out, you know, before you can get in there. And I'm like, oh gosh, I've already told her to leave her stuff because she used to say Iran saying leave her stuff. And she's just this older lady. She has this. She's just kind of like I don't know. So
Do you have the contract signed?
yes,
Okay. So she's moving out, you said today?
yeah. She was supposed to do it in the last month, but yeah, today she said around the 10th. She was set the 15th, and I said, I can't do anything until you're out. And then she said she moved it like the other day. She texted me. She goes, okay, I'm moving it out. And am I going to get my deposit? She's all about that 20,000. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm all about that 20 right now. She goes, I have to have that. And I said,
You're not,
I go, you're not gonna
whoa,
get
whoa,
that.
whoa, you're not giving her 20,000 until you
Yeah.
close.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I told her, I said, I'm not going to be able to give you 20,000 until we close. And then she goes, but I need that to even move out. I go, no, you know, I said, if we negotiate, because we did. I told her, because she wasn't getting anything down at first, you know. So I even told her I'd help her. I'd drive over there and help her. But no, now since she raised it up and wanted that money, I told her, I was like, there's no way. You have to get that at close. That you don't get anything till close. You get that 20, and the other 20 you get just, you know, down the road, whatever I decide to do or whatever. I don't, but so that's why I'm kind of like stuck on that one. You know, she's expecting now she's got the U-Haul. She said, okay, I figured it out. I got it. I can get it all out. And then you'll give me the 20. And I'm like, I hate to blow her off, but I don't like answering the questions like that. Whenever I can't give it to her right when she moves out, I've already told her like 20 times. You know, she repeats the questions all the time. But
Right. Well, if you're looking to if you're looking to hold it, then I would say get it closed so that she can be out and we can start marketing it as soon as possible.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want to do. But I have to have, but in order to that, I have to have the money, right? To close.
You got to get what?
The 20, we have to have the down payment, right? To close,
You
right?
need, yes, you need to
Yeah.
have that 20,000 at closing.
Right. Hmm.
So that would be either you need to write that. I mean, what's nice is that you will be getting, I would say, with a $200,000 plus house, you know, and again, we never advertise what we're looking for because we'll be
Right.
shocked and surprised. But you should be getting somewhere in the $18,000 to $25,000 as a non-refundable option deposit. So it should
Mhm.
be a short term, write a check, get a check back. Again, you're not gonna make a big amount on the front end, but you do have that back end of the equity in the house that you're gonna cash out.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying. I mean, that makes sense. Okay. Mm. I'm just scared. Yeah, it's been like, it's been a long road with this lady because I just didn't know. I don't know. I was just kind of stuck on like, and I'm not a thinker brain. And it's like, oh my gosh, I guess I am. I was all kinds of crazy. I was like, I sent her a contract and I wasn't even sure. I had to send it over like 4 times because, certain things, like she, what, I had to keep her stuff there, and then somebody told me to tell her to take her stuff, and I'm like, take all her belongings. So I was like, okay, that makes sense to my head now because I'm not there. I don't want her. She's like, I'm gonna leave all this stuff. I'm like, no. Oh my gosh.
Right. Did I get your question answered?
Yeah, I think so. You know what? I don't know what's even going on. I don't know. I think I'm gonna ask you something else. I don't know how we got on this one. I can't remember now. I have like 7 of them right here. Let me see. Well, let somebody else talk first. But I had like 7 of them I sent in earlier, or 8. I don't know. I'll let somebody else talk, and I'll go over one more that I supposed to be writing a contract up for.
Okay, then let's pause on you and let's see if we have anybody else with some questions.
Hey, Ann, real quick,
Yes,
can you hear
who
me?
is this?
This
Sure,
is
tell me who
Gary.
it is. Hey, Gary.
Hey, you had mentioned, and I've run into this a few times, and I'm not sure that I'm approaching it correctly, but I usually wait, as you mentioned, for the inquiring of the mortgage information till after we've had a little bit of a um, um, rapport building before I go right into how much do they owe and all that stuff. But when they give you, when they come back and say, "Hey, why are you asking me this stuff?" Typically, I do what Ron said. We buy different ways and so on and so forth. Is there an approach that you use that you find to be most effective when they push back on the mortgage information?
Yes, the very next thing that comes out of my mouth when they push back is, "Oh, I'm sorry." And the reason that I say, and it literally, as soon as they do any pushback at all, I mean, I'm almost cutting them off with, "Oh, I'm sorry," because I've offended them in some way, shape, or form, and I apologize immediately. And then I basically go right into, I normally buy on terms, which means I make some monthly payments on what you and I agree upon until we pay you off sometime in the future. And I go straight to box B and then read the rest of what is on box B.
Okay. Even
And
if
that,
even
but
if
that,
they aren't, even if they do have a mortgage
even if they do have a mortgage,
and you
because
don't know
I
what
can
they're supposed,
circle,
okay.
yeah, I
Certainly,
can circle
yes, you can go
back.
right back. Yep. Okay, good,
Exactly.
good.
But
Okay.
the apology and the explanation kind of puts them back in, either it's going to fix the problem immediately because I've apologized and explained, and now, they're like, no, that's not even going to interest me at all. I've got a no lead. And usually on that case, I'll just get off the phone and I call them back in, 3 weeks or so later and start again.
How do
Uh,
you
and if
when you call back in 3 weeks? How do you introduce? You say, "Hey, this is me
I,
again. I was just calling."
Yep. My name is Ann. I'm the principal. I'm calling you about your house for sale. And usually they won't remember you. Anyways, if they do remember you, it's, I'm the principal. I see that your house is still for sale and thought maybe if we could make this a win-win for you and me, we could, get this taken care of.
Okay,
Nobody's
good.
usually that rude. They're like, no, I'm not taking terms, or are you that terms girl? And I'm like, yeah, that's me.
You're that person. Oh. Yeah. No, okay.
No, I'm
Good.
still not interested. Okay, I'll check back in a month if I still see it listed. You have a good one.
Yep.
I've bought a house
Good.
after like 7 or 8 calls like that, so they work.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Follow up is king, right?
The millions are in the follow-up. Lightning can strike just about anywhere at any time. And I say that because I mean most of you have been to Quick Start School. You see that we can make phone calls and we can get a deal. And I call it lightning. That you get those on a quick conversation, but I've also made thousands of calls. So the deals that come on the first phone call or the second phone call, I just refer to as lightning striking. Really making the money is the follow-up. And that's why usually people are like, why is this like so hard the first year? Well, the first year is you're building your pipeline. You make these calls, you put them in your follow-up system. And, if I'm buying something on the 7th or 8th call, I mean, I'm 8 months into it before I
Right.
actually get a deal. So, and that's where, people sometimes get frustrated. And I hear that with some of my students and mentors talk. So we talk about you guys, all good things though. But yeah, and we'll hear about, somebody is, they're, after 3 months, this doesn't work and I'm frustrated and, this is, what's the other, it's a scam and all this good happy stuff. Well, it's just not enough time. Has
Well, it's
gone
like
in and there's not
marketing.
enough phone calls. What?
It's like marketing. You can't keep marketing in 1 week and say, doesn't work.
Yeah, and most marketers will tell you it's basically the 2nd through the 7th contact that you will get a sale.
Right. Yep. Okay, well, that's good information. Thank you so much, Ann.
Sure. Did I got your question?
You did, and that I'm sorry, I think is key to helping to build the rapport as well.
It has worked well for me.
Good. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you. Who else? Anybody else? Or Lacey, if you've got your
Hey,
other
Ann,
one keyed up?
Mario here. Quick question.
Yes.
What has been working for you as far as marketing goes?
So I'm a bad person to ask that. Only because I spend very, very little in marketing. Only because I'm literally backed up on deals right now, and that's I get most of my deals now through referrals. The best thing I will tell you to do is open your mouth and tell everybody what you do. The other where that I get and I make sure is that I use the Gold Club. I turn them on usually, I don't know, about once a quarter. Because I like to get the information from the Gold Club because I like to close at least 1 to 2 deals from them a year. Just because if I'm pushing it on students or having them make those first calls while you're getting used to making calls, I like to make sure that I can close a deal that way myself.
Got it.
Yeah, but mostly now, I mean, I pick and I guess I'm thinking you're saying marketing to get people to call me. That is really mouth to mouth right now is I have more people calling me. I mean, and I guess the cheater's way, I do work in a firehouse, so all of the guys know me and they tell all of their friends. And so literally they come and bring me phone numbers and stuff to call people that they want to sell their house. So mostly right now it's all word of mouth.
Right. So you get paid twice at your job, right?
Say that one more time.
You get paid twice at your job. Leads
Yes.
and your salary.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Okay, thanks, Ann.
Thank you. The other thing, I'll throw at you, a lot of the mentors are talking back and forth about that. And a lot of the other mentors, they use bandit signs and say that they go rather well. I have not experienced them. And I will tell you on my students, I've had, I don't know, like 60% say they work and I've had about 40% say they don't.
Gotcha. All right, thanks a lot.
So, Thank you. There was
Wh-
someone
what,
else who,
what did they say works, Ann? I'm sorry. You said 60%?
the bandit signs?
Got it.
Yeah, the fast cash or call for fast cash or sell your house fast. Those little signs that you pin up, they're called bandit signs.
Got it. Yeah, no, thank you. I just didn't hear it. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Ann, real quick, what CRM do you use? Do you have a CRM or do you just use paper?
So you're gonna laugh. I use an accordion file. How do you like that?
That works. Hey, whatever works, right?
I literally, and I just, you know what? I don't carry my computer with me all the time. And I think it's because of what I do for a living. But I always tend to have my accordion file with me. So it's amazing. And I have my iPhone with me, but the accordion file, when I get lead sheets through the VAs and I start making calls, I literally, I don't know what's today's the 10th, and I call them and I text them. What works for me is if I call and immediately send a text if they didn't answer, and then I every 3 to 5 days I'm calling them back. I want to be just shy of stalking them, but I also want to be persistent so that they will get on the phone with me. And then literally, so I call them today and it's the 10th, I drop it in the 15th. And I know when I wake up on the 15th, here's my calls I need to make. Cause I just pull
Yeah.
my little pieces of paper out of my accordion file. And
Yep.
if I need to follow up in 3 weeks or a month, it keeps cycling over and over. It works well for me.
That's very good. That works. So you just take the property information sheets and that's your that's your kernel for information, and you just keep calling them back. Do you use your own phone number or do you have a separate line or something that you use?
I use my own phone number. I
Okay.
have 6 or 8 different I have Trusta, I have Pat Live, so I have the different numbers. It got kind of silly, and I work in a very small area, so I am not real concerned. Um, I don't pressure anybody into anything. And I mean, even when I had a signed contract and someone got nervous, I mean, I let them out of the deal. I didn't fight with them, and I've got a very good reputation. So I'm not getting any 3 a.m. phone calls or anything like that. So I just use they know how they can get in touch with me, and it helps build rapport. So a lot of people like to have Google Voice and have different numbers that they use. I use my cell
Well, it
phone
just makes
number.
it complicated. It really makes it complicated. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You are welcome. Who
Hey,
is
Ann, you got
next?
time for a quick question?
Sure. Who are you first?
Hey, it's Andrew in the Nashville area. How are you?
I'm good, Andrew. How are you?
I'm good. I have a house under contract that I'm wholesaling, and I'm doing an open house on it this weekend.
Okay.
This seems like a silly question, but it just kind of dawned on me. I thought, well, I better ask. So, is the person that's going to the investor that first of all, I'm planning to sell it in a wholesale. You want to sell it to a cash buyer, correct? You don't really want to
Yes.
try to do, yeah. And are they contracting with me or with my seller?
So so you're really going to have to decide how you are going to do it. Because if you're just flipping paper, you might have to either rewrite a different contract,
Yeah.
or you can do a double close. So
Well,
it depends on where you're at on that.
well, they know full well what my intentions are. My seller does. They know that, I'm making some money on it. And so when I knew I needed the assignment form to use, but then I started thinking, well, do they make the contract out to me with me assigning my contract to them? Or are they making the contract out to my seller? And you said it just depends.
You currently have it under contract, right?
I do.
As long as it's under contract, when you get somebody and you're ready to, you get who you like, you write up a contract to purchase a sale agreement between you and the buyer. And then get it to basically the closing, who's ever closing, whatever closing attorney, and let them decide, because you're gonna wanna flip paper on it so that you don't have to double close, it'll be cheaper.
Right.
But you absolutely wanna make sure that your basically assignment fee is taken care of in there.
Right.
And so you wanna stay in the middle of it until you know that that's taken care of. So I would, you can always rewrite it the other way later. I would rewrite it at that open house. If you get the person picked, I would write it between you, the seller, or the buyer, and you as the seller.
Okay. But I still need to assign my contract to them, or is that something for the attorney to determine?
We're gonna have the attorney determine that, and it's gonna all, that assignment will all happen under one signature. So
Uh-huh.
that there's no chance that basically that contract get rewritten and you get iced out.
Right.
Does it? So I wanna,
Yeah.
I wanna make sure that in case you wrote it from the person that you're buying it from to them, they have a valid contract. And they close on it and they forget your assignment fee. So I would keep myself in the middle of that until the attorney basically changes it and it's at closing and it's all under one stroke of the pen and your assignment fee is there.
Yeah. Okay. Because I thought, well, I might be dealing with some savvy investors, and I'm a novice, so I was a little concerned about that. Would you
Right, and
would
'cause-
you use the same contract that Ron, the just the standard purchase and sales agreement?
Standard purchase and sales agreement.
Okay. So I'll have those in the assignment form on hand for whoever I go with. I've got quite a few showing
Right,
up at an open house, and hopefully things will go well this Saturday.
the more the merrier. The more you have in there, the better the bids.
That was my plan, was trying to get as many of them to come at the same time, and I'm thinking they're all going to come early, because I think there's pretty good net profit in this for whoever buys it. And
Don't
people
open the
have-
door early.
no, I'm just saying I want them to all kind of, hopefully as many as possible, to all walk in the door at noon when I start the open house. That way they know,
Right,
hey, I've got competition.
Lock the door. Do not let people in. Make them stand outside.
Oh yeah.
And I'm serious. I mean, I've made people, I mean, they lined around the block. The more that lined up around the block, the more that came because they wanted to know what was going on.
That's funny. Yeah, I put it on Facebook Marketplace, put it on Zillow. Now on Zillow, I had to give the address. Before that, I wasn't giving the address just yet until I screened people. But the cat's out of the bag now. I put it on the local investors group. Craigslist hadn't produced anything, but it's done pretty well. I expect to have quite a few buyers, and I think the repairs are probably 50,000 if you put a roof on it, but I don't want to make the determination that it absolutely needs a roof, because I don't know for sure. So I've really said the repairs are around 35,000, and even if it comes in more, I still think there's a lot of meat on the bone for them, to still do well with it. So the way I've got it priced.
Awesome.
So yeah, the ARV is like 675, and I bought it for 470.
Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's a great town. I mean, it's a very hot town just south of Nashville in Franklin.
Franklin's huge. Franklin is an extremely hot market.
Yeah, the average price of a home in Franklin right now is about 900,000.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good and bad. It's a hot market, but there are countless real estate investors here.
But that's okay, be on the receiving end of that. You know, something that you might want to do as you get the bids from them. One of the things I did is I took my top 5 and I got them on a conference call.
Ah,
And I basically said, this is my top bid. I'm opening it up to you guys. If anybody wants to go higher, basically final and best, you're my top 5. You've got the opportunity for final and best, and let them go round and round for a little bit. And then I'm just kind of eating some popcorn, waiting. I actually, the sale price of my house went up by like 10,000. I ended up getting more in my non-refundable option deposit, and I got $300 more a month on rent. So obviously
wow.
yours isn't a lease option, you know, but you know, when it comes down to it, you're going to have basically a live auction going on that round table.
That's what I'm hoping for. I've got it priced at $499.9, but I'm already kind of whetting everybody's appetite, saying I think I'll get that or maybe even more. So we'll see if I get into some bidding wars. Would you have anything on hand to hand out, or you just want to make sure that you get everybody's contact information?
If you're part of the Ron's Gold Club, there is, I think on Selling Houses Fast, there is a 1-page application.
Uh-huh.
And on the top of it, it will list, you know, how much their bid is for the house. So a lot of times I would get that filled out. And that
Okay.
also can morph into a buyer's list for you. Anybody coming in the house, I'd have somebody at the front door. To get in the house, you need their name and their email address.
Right. Okay.
And that also can help with a buyer's list. You'll get more in. I don't pressure them for phone numbers and stuff like that because people can get irritated with that. But a name and an email address is great for starting a buyer's list, and then you can email them and contact them.
Right.
So it's the least information that I want. And then if they fill out a form for me, then I have most of their information. And again, I'm making a buyer's list.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I'm trying to talk to everybody so far that's called and shown interest before, coming to the open house. So I already have phone numbers, email addresses. Pretty good
Gotcha.
start on that. So wish me luck.
Good luck. Knock it out of the park.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Who is next? Questions? I think I'm over time. I don't know if this is supposed to go till 7 or 7:30, but do we have any more questions? Going once?
I have
Going
a
twice?
question, Ann.
Yes, Mr. Ruiz.
Yeah, and I'm a licensed realtor in the state of Illinois, and I have a couple from church that they wanted to sell their house because they already bought a house in Dallas, Texas. And first I gave them the impression that I wanted to buy the house as an investment. So she said, well, I could give you a break, but you're not going to steal it from me. And now I made the analysis, and if I'm going to use the formula using the the ARV and the Mayo, it seemed like a low offer. This is a property after repair. It will be like 360 or 365,000. I'm thinking offering like a 248, 255, but I never seen the house. And she said that it needs a little work, old carpet, paint, and stuff like that. So I'm not sure making the appointment to either go as a listing specialist and rather list the property or buy the property as investment, because it's like an hour away from me. So I don't know nobody in that area that I could use as a general contractor to do the specification of the property. So can you give me a little tip? What should I do?
All right, so just out of curiosity, where's the property located? Is it in Chicago proper or is it in a different town?
No, it's in a different town in McHenry County, and I'm in Cook County.
Okay. I grew up in Lake County.
Okay, yeah.
So I know the area pretty well, which is why I was asking, because I know some contractors over there, but not in McHenry. I do know some in Lake, but that's not too far away. So if you haven't seen the house, I would get somebody out there with boots on the ground, and you need to figure out, you need to make a decision on this, because you use the Mayo formula when you basically got a house that needs to get a bunch of rehab done to it. So I'm not sure if this is actually a bunch of rehab or if this is a pretty house that needs a little bit of updating. 'Cause if it's a
Right,
pretty
it
house,
might be in that route. Yeah, it's an elderly couple,
Right.
but they're clean. Yeah, it's by
right,
the
and
Fox
I mean,
River.
is this person willing to give you terms?
Well, my thing was that I was gonna find a hard money lender, and I told him that I was gonna buy it, pay cash, even though I'm pre-approved. And what she's thinking cash is like, I'm gonna come with a briefcase full of money and give her 250,000 or 275 or something like that. And that's not the case, because I'm still being pre-approved. And it's gonna take at least 30 to 45 days to do a good closing if it come that long. But she's saying that, she came back from Dallas and now thinking that, I'm gonna close in 2 weeks. So I don't want to misguide her. And I could tell her, well, you could list it with me. We got lock boxes, we have everything. And once we get the clear to close, then either we could do it through, through the regular mail, or come and get another trip. Maybe I'll just pay for her for their trip coming back and forth, so if I could make a good commission out of it, or make a spread somehow.
Absolutely. She knows that you're a realtor, so at some point you need to see if she'll give you some terms. If she wants all cash, then you need to make sure on what you're actually doing. So I would decide which way this needs to go before I can give you kind of an answer, because I need to know if it's really a pretty house that just needs a refreshment, or if it is a complete rehab type thing. Cause yeah, the rehab, if the house is over 200,000, then it's 80%, under 200,000 is 70% minus repairs, minus some Murphy money in there. But and if that's the case, but then you're gonna need a contractor in the area. But I need to, until I can really chime in on it, I need to know how much work needs to get done and where you're at.
Right. Let's say, because it needs all the appliances, they're old, mismatched. She said that has old carpet since they moved in 2003, and they just did the roof. They say they just did it, and 3 years old is not they just did it. That's an old roof already, 3 years. So I don't know how the rest, like the radiators, or the rest of the furnace, or the other tank, hot water tank, how they are. I don't know. I have not seen the house. I was planning to
How much
make
is the house worth?
after repair, it's worth like at least 350 to 365.
Okay, and how much does she want?
Well, we have not talk about price yet. Is pay in full. I wanted to see if they do owner finance, but they say no, that they just want their money so they could leave. They don't want to do nothing else back over here in the suburbs or in Illinois.
So the next question I'd ask is, what's the least you'll take? It needs fixing up, it needs paint, it needs this, it needs that. What are you looking to get out of it? I wouldn't offer anything until she answered that question.
Okay. Okay, so should I go first with the hat of an investor and then if you don't give me a good number that will work out for me and then take off the investor's hat and put my realtor hat? You say, well, I could list it for
Yes.
you and you could, because honestly, I told her on front, me as a listing specialist, you will make more money like this, but I'm willing to buy it as an investment.
Right.
So that's
So yeah, I
like,
would start investment, and if we can't get either terms or a deal, then list it. Then become the realtor and list it and take your commission.
okay, and so if I do terms, what you mean with the term, like a lease option or a finance?
If you would do, I would buy it. Subject,
Buy
basically, and I'd make a monthly payment. And as little as possible down, basically owner finance.
So if they do that, how can I refinance it and get the money and then I could pay them if the property is not under my name? Or what paper should I take that I will have control of it?
Well, if you owner finance it, you will get the deed. You will have control of it. There will still be a mortgage on it, or they don't have a mortgage, right?
Right, they don't have no mortgage.
Yeah, then you've got the deed to the house with no mortgage. And honestly, they can do the same thing if you want. They can pull the money out of the house and then have you take over the mortgage. And that would almost be in a better position because then you're not liable.
See, I thought something like that the old trainees, I heard that, they could do the mortgage and then would do like a subject to, and then I take over the mortgage and do the repairs.
Right.
And
Or you do exactly what, basically just do terms. You will make them a monthly payment, which comes off of what you're going to be paying. You're going to come up with a price for the house. And then you will make monthly payments to them for a certain amount of time, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, as long as they'll give you. And then you have a balloon payment. But by the time you get 5 to 10 years down the road, you'd lease option it to sell it. So you'd get a non-refundable option deposit. And a $350,000 house is going to be, $35,000+. So, and then your rent that they're going to pay you is going to be more than the amount that you're going to pay them.
yeah, because I was checking on
Have
the
you been to
rental
Quick
meter.
Start? When
I'm
was the
sorry.
last time you were at Quick Start?
It's in 2017.
I believe next week, I could be wrong. It's next week or the week after is a virtual, so it's online. And I would call in, I don't know, I don't know if you're a master or anything like that, but anybody that's on here, anytime that you can get into Quick Start and just get a refresher on it, I would tell you, especially in the position that you're in, everybody should be calling in tomorrow to see, yeah, depending on how long you've been gone and what the price is and stuff. But if you can get a refresher, you should be listening to Ron as often as you can.
Okay. All right, Ann. Thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
very
Maylene.
much.
So yeah, perfect. And
I-
thank you, Maylene. You put in there the dates of the Quick Start for me. I appreciate that. Questions?
Yes, can I, that reminded me just when he said that. Okay, so I have a for sale by owner that, he's 80 years old and he, is free and clear and he doesn't want to talk no terms. His wife, passed away. And a little bit, I was gonna get, I did not even give him a cash offer. I did not give him a cash offer, about it would not be the Mayo formula, would it? A cash offer? If it's a nice, it's a nice home and it's free and clear and it's, maybe updates. I asked him, but I didn't go that far, but it's down the street from where I live. So I know it pretty well, but I wanted to ask him something about the finance, you know, how to take, you know, if he wanted to do a refi, but I just didn't know how to ask that. I mean, I remember seeing the script somewhere, but I just thought of that. But I just didn't really understand how I would say that anyways, to understand it for me, for if he wanted to take all the money, you know, all refi and take, you know, all the cash that he wants, because that's basically where he was at. He didn't want to talk no terms and just wanted a cash, and I didn't even give him a cash offer. I was supposed to be calling him
So-
tonight.
So,
Yeah, so
you know,
I
at
was
that
wondering
point,
if I could just ask him, like, you know, to refi or just give him the cash offer, or, you know, and he's free and clear, and he's asking about 425 and a house, you know, it's about the ARV, a couple houses just around is like, one was 500 and one was 475, and he's asking 425.
so I'd ask him the least that he'd take
Mhm.
if it was all cash. And then
Okay,
decide if you want to do that or not.
yeah,
'Cause
I just didn't
again,
know. Go ahead.
well, right, and that if it's truly worth over 500,000 the house, and you can get it for 425 or less, I'd probably flip paper on it. I would do a
Okay.
wholesale on it as quickly as I can, if you can get it. That's not,
Yeah.
usually wholesalers are in the junkers, more
Right.
than the pretty house. And the other thing I'd be asking, and that's exactly what you ask them, is, look, you know, why don't you go take a mortgage out, pull your cash out of the house, and when we buy it, I'll make the payments for you.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at, but he kind of like about the payments. Right when I went on the terms, he was already like the payments. He was already kind of jumpy about that. He said, no, I just want the cash, 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 cash. And I was just, give me cash. And I was like, cash offer, give me. And I just didn't want to give it. I said, I told him I was going to call him back, do my homework, because I didn't really want to insult him, because I do know the prices of the homes. It's down, you know, it's my neighborhood. So I know you know, so I didn't know what to say with that. If I just come back with the refi and just say, hey, just pull the cash out, because he's gonna get it all the cash. You know, I want to make so he'll know. I mean, he's 80 years old, and he's kind of and then I would just tell him that I would make him payments, correct? Off that
Correct.
if he refi. Okay. And
Right, and
if
that
it,
way, I mean, he'd have all his cash.
right. Okay, and if the other, if I were to just go ahead and make a cash offer, and if he said the least that he would do to 425, I would say at least that the home is probably worth right about when he's saying, if the ones I've been looking at, they're actually a little bit higher, you know, there's not any that's less. So I don't know, maybe because he was really onto that cash, give me a cash offer. I didn't
And
know.
you know, sometimes it's best just to tell them that it's not gonna work, hang up the phone and call back
Yeah.
in 30 days.
Yeah. Okay. And one more question, I promise, is that I was on the phone last night, and I was talking to this a guy. He is a vacant home. His okay, he has a mortgage on it, 350, and his payment is 2,400. And he said that he's willing to wait for his money to get cashed out. And so my question, and then we were talking about the terms, and he was doing it actually on the phone, and he's like, oh, doing some typing, and he said, well, 3 to 36, because that would be 150 between what he owes and what you know, that he has to wait to cash out. So I guess he came up with 3 years. But my thing is, I'm scared if it's vacant, and I don't know, this is a deal. Right. I mean, it's a beautiful home. It's vacant, and it's on I think it was like 6 acres or something. And his wife let it go to foreclosure. He paid it. And then now he said she deeded it back to him, and now he wants to get rid of it. And it's just sitting there vacant, and now it's a high payment. And of course, I don't want to take over this stuff. That scares me a little bit. So that's why I'm kind of but he's open for it. He said that he'll do terms for like 3 years. I don't know if
What's
that's
the house worth?
The house is worth, let me see. I want to, I want to say it was probably like around 5 because yeah, it was around like 5, a little bit over 5, and he was asking 5, and that's the reason he wanted that high price because he said he can wait to be cashed out. He can wait till later to be cashed out, and then he's like, "When will that be?" And then that's how we kind of got stuck on last night, and
So
basically
he
that.
wants retail price in 3 years?
Yeah, because I said, I was kind of doing the script thing, the difference between what he owes and, and what he wants and what he owes. Get 150. He needs to wait and to get cash out. And he goes, okay, so about how long is that? So then he kind of typed in the phone 3 months to 36 months because he's trying to add up that 150. I don't know what he was doing, but he kind of like left it there. And then I just,
And
I
the 2400, is
that's his,
that what,
that's his
the
monthly payment.
2400 is what he pays the bank every month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't think you have any, how much do you think it would rent for?
Oh, yeah, so I put that down to the, gosh, I just had, hold 1 second. It was oh gosh, I'm sorry, it's another one. I just had it. Sorry, I had it. It was a
Higher or
couple more
lower than 20?
hundred. It was only a couple more hundred than 20. It was like 20, I want to say 27.
All right, so you get it. So I mean, you're gonna get a non-refundable option deposit. The problem is that you've only got 3 years. You know, I, you're gonna, honestly, anytime that you are doing a lease option, you're going to artificially and raise the price. So if it's truly a $500,000 house, you're probably going to list it between 535, 545, maybe 549, depending, and get somebody in there and they'll probably pay between 2,700 and 3,000 because they pay more than rent.
Right.
So, your spread would be low, but you could make it work. The other thing is that 3 years is a little bit tight. I don't know how, what your market conditions are where
Yeah,
you're
it's not
at.
in my here. It's somewhere. That's another thing. It's not. I'm in Texas, of course, but I've been I've been doing all around. So this one is not in. It's in North. I believe this was North Carolina.
Okay.
I think. Wait, where is it? I think it was there. I gotta look. I have so many of these in front of me. I'm so sorry. I think it's in North Carolina. But it's a beautiful home, and yeah, I don't know, I just might just stop doing the Facebook market. I'm getting so many leads and good leads, but I'm not familiar with these. I have another lead. This lady's just, she wants only $1,000 in a month, and this home is beautiful. And I just don't know how to talk to these people. That's not in my market that I don't know. But even though I went, around, like it's $1,000 she wants, it's free and clear. And she said the reason they moved out is because they lived there for, 30 years and you get in a wheelchair, and it's beautiful on a corner lot, and it's worth, it was like 55. I mean, I think the rental was like 55, like 5,000. And she was asking like,
How much is the house worth?
yeah, the house was worth, shoot, let me take this one. It's like all of them are all about the same kind of. It's so weird. It's like all these big spread. I just don't get it. Like that house is search. Sorry, I have just saw it.
So
Okay,
I guess the point
yeah.
I'm trying to make is if it's a $3 million house and they want 100,000 down, probably
Yeah.
not so bad. If it's a
Oh no, yeah,
500,000 house, I mean, I always think in my mind about the 10% that's what you're roughly going to get back. You're never going to advertise that, but
Right.
roughly that's what we're kind of looking for, is that in between 10%. So if it's $1 million house, I'm going to want $100,000 non-refundable option deposit. If it's a $500,000 house, I'm going to want a 50,000 right in that thumbprint of an area. So if they're wanting more than that, then we might not have a good deal, and that at some
Right.
point, there may be nothing more to say other than goodbye
Right.
and call them back in 3 weeks.
Okay, so like, yeah, I'm sorry, I got that one mixed up. It was, she has a free, there's is free and clear, and the rental was 2,000, and ARV, the ARV was 300, and she's asking 250. She's on, would take terms, with $1,000. That $1,000, she had said, wait, because it's free and clear. She said, I said, how much would she take? She said, 1,000, and the rental's like 2,100, and this is in North Dakota. And that ARV's 315. That's a free and clear one. And that's like 4 bedroom. It's a huge house. That's the corner lot one.
So what is the question?
I forget. I was asking you about, oh yeah, about the guy with the I was asking that question. I talked to him last night about if that if I should call him back about the 3 years and just tell him I need longer, or just, or what? Go along with it?
I'd be looking for a longer term. He
Okay.
wants pretty much, and the one that we went, that's 500,000. I mean, that's retail price. It's a short term. And you're not really in the area unless you have
Right.
boots on the ground. You
Right.
could make it work, but your numbers are going to be a little tight.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
That's up to you on what your risk tolerance is.
no, yeah. See, I just get nervous. I don't know. Another one's just like that. She owes 298, and the rental's 5,500, and her payment's 2,200, and she's asked. It's on 2 acres house. She said it needs updates, but she said that she'll wait for it was 298, and it's 2,200, and then she was asking 500, and the ARV was 680 to 720, and then the rental is 5,500.
All right. So what is the ARV is 680?
The ARV is 680 to 315. I mean 715. It was over 7 between on Zillow. It said I need to go over.
And how much is she asking for the house?
500.
How much repairs?
I asked her, she said it does need a little bit of repairs, and I need to get that. That was all just today. I was trying to sent them all over to you, and I was trying to hurry up, but I need to talk to her about that. But it does rent out at 5,500, and she does have a payment of 2,200, and it's on 2 acres, 5 bedroom, two bath, or big.
I mean, that's great that it rents out at 6,500 and the payment's 2,200.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much and how much down?
I was kind of like going over the script, and I was saying if she could just wait. I kind of like went over that. I was going over the sub to kind of a script, like I asked what she owes. I mean, it was 298, and she said 298, and I said, okay, well, you want 500, 298. The difference between that. Can you wait to get cash out? She said yes, and that's where we kind of left it. And then she says, can you just give me an offer? And I was like, no, I just wanted to talk to you guys or whatever about it right now.
So
But
you need to ask the rest of the questions.
mhm.
And if you're okay with just taking over a mortgage, and we normally buy with nothing down, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she said okay to that. But the thing is, I'm scared about that payment though, right? And I take over that mortgage at 2,200. Is that, well, I mean,
It's renting at 6,500.
right, there you go. Yes.
6,500.
Yes, yes,
And
ma'am.
it's almost unbelievable. Very honestly, that's it. If it's really renting that high, I mean, that's almost $4,000 plus a month
Yeah.
spread.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna
I'd be
go.
checking into those numbers.
Okay. Okay,
So-
that's from Zillow. I do have Rent O Monitor, and this national thing, Facebook is like kind of getting to me because I'm all around. I want to do open houses around me because I'm like, but I have all these leads coming everywhere else. I'm not really the market.
All right. Is there any other questions? I'm really
Yeah, and real
long,
quick.
so- Yes.
And we're
Jesus.
going long. I apologize. and this may not be appropriate to answer here, but what do you have a formula or a procedure for boots on the ground that you use, or do you do primarily local where you go out yourself?
Normally, I just really am buying and selling in areas that, like, I work in Arizona. My dad lives out there. I do work some in Illinois. I have a brother who still lives North Lake County. I have some friends in different areas that I buy, and then I buy and sell in Indiana, basically an hour and a half from my house. So, boots on, so I don't really reach out. But usually friends I have all over the country, so I would go with somebody that I know, but I'm not really advertising on Craigslist or anything. I can help you through that if you want to advertise on Craigslist and, have somebody FaceTime you or take pictures and whatnot, but I don't normally do that.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Well, maybe we can talk again about how that's to be done.
Perfect. I'm really
you,
long.
Ann.
They're probably going to get really mad at me. Is there anybody that has a quick question? If not, I'm going to sign this off. I do hope it's been helpful. I'm going to put the shameless plug in on, there is a virtual coming up. And I really anticipate, especially anybody who has not been to Ron in several years. I'm not on the sales team, so I wish I could give you more information about it. I can't. Call into the office tomorrow and find out what your situation would be, and if you have Gold Club points and what you can use. Anytime. I mean, this is a forever changing world, and everything changes, and Ron is still doing deals. So as most, all the mentors are doing deals as well, but if you can hear from Ron himself, and get updated, I think that would just be as beneficial as anybody can. The other thing, I think there's a live quick start, and it's in Chicago, and it's the first part of the month. And anybody who could get signed up for that, I mean, as much as I push virtual, because you can get a quick update on everything virtually. But really live is 100,000 times better to be there live, and really get all the information, even though it is so much information for a weekend. But to be there with your classmates and make friends around the country that are all doing the exact same thing. It's just incredible to be there in person. But if you can't travel, I understand that travel and hotel rooms cost money. A minimum, get on the virtual that's coming up. He does them several times a year. And especially those of you that have been out of, like, Ron's Planet and have not gone to a quick start. My personal is that, attend at least once a year to get the updates, and just to keep yourself fresh in the business. That is my opinion. But anybody who can sign up for the virtual, find out. I don't, like, you're in your first year, I think it's free if there's certain update points, and then there's times that you pay other things. So I apologize, I don't know all the pricing to it, but it's really worthwhile if you're in Ron's world to get at least a repeat performance. So, and if you can come to Chicago, I'll be there, and I'd love to meet you all in person. With that, I will sign off and thank everybody for their time.
Thank you, Ann. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thanks, Sam. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.